Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm Andrew Hollis, and we have a very special guest with us today. It's my honor to introduce you to Rob Pitts. He is the chairman of Fulton County Board of Commissioners. Before being elected chairman in 2017, Rob served on the Fulton County Board of Commissioners for 12 years. As a commissioner, he advocated to relieve the tax burden on Fulton County property owners, supported the library systems, and protected animal rights, and helped to encourage economic development in South Fulton County. Since becoming commissioner chairman, Rob has worked to defend Fulton County's election system and voters, navigate the COVID-19 crisis, and bolster minority-owned financial institutions. Rob also served on the Atlanta City Council for 2 decades. Firstly, thank you so much for joining us today, Rob.
Great to be with you.
Appreciate it. So if diving right into it, could you tell us a little bit about the Infrastructure for All initiative?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you again for having me. A lot going on here at the county now, but wanted to make time to talk with you about what we're doing. As Fulton County, as the largest county in the state of Georgia, one of the most influential, this is an announcement I'm making here now, self-promoting Fulton County, one of the most influential counties of the 3,000 plus in the United States, obviously the largest one in the state of Georgia. So we are home to Atlanta, our capital city, home to 1,200,000 plus residents, and growing each and every day. But infrastructure is very, very important to us, although it is not necessarily one of the 4 things that we're responsible for from the point of view of the Constitution of the state of Georgia. And just as a reminder, those 4 include the criminal justice system, the library system, health and human services, and specifically rabies control, but we've expanded that to include animal control. And I'll talk about a little bit about that a little more as we go along. But we're also very, very involved in economic development. And an integral part of economic development is infrastructure. And the first thing that developers ask about when they come to Fulton County, and they do come to Fulton County first, is what about the infrastructure? Is Fulton County committed? And the answer to that is yes, we are. And we've demonstrated that over and over again, not only in North County, but South County in particular. And our emphasis today, quite frankly, is in South County. And we've spent about $500 million in infrastructure in South Fulton County, because South Fulton County is going to be, and is in fact, the growth area for Fulton County. Not to be disrespectful or take anything from North County, but for the most part, North County is pretty much built out. The growth in Fulton County is in South Fulton County. Has been somewhat overlooked during the years, overlooked from the point of view of developers. But now, once again, that they're out of space, so to speak, up north, they are looking south. And in order for us to make the south part of our county more appealing to them, we've had to spend a ton of money on infrastructure improvements, which is what we're doing. That includes, water and other types of infrastructure. And the reason all of this is so important to Fulton County is because we're within spitting distance from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Everybody and their brother wants to be near that airport. And so you can't get any closer to it than living or working or enjoying yourself in South Fulton County. So that's why that's such an area of interest to the county. And that's why we're putting our money to demonstrate that we're committed to the infrastructure, because that's where it starts. If you do not have the infrastructure in place, it's all conversation.
No, and I mean, I think that's a very fair point. So kind of going off what you said a little bit about the infrastructure initiatives, obviously highlighting water, wastewater, transportation. What are some of the upcoming capital projects? And then if you could just give us an idea of future developments when it comes to transportation and water and wastewater initiatives for the county.
Well, first and foremost, with respect to upcoming projects, actually current and upcoming, because a lot of what a lot of this is ongoing. We've embarked on a huge effort to revitalize again South Fulton County, starting with the Fulton industrial area, where we've acquired a number of properties. If you've ever driven that way, you've seen those old seedy motels right when you exit at Fulton Industrial, that were a lot of prostitution, drug use, all kinds of crime. So we, the county, bought those, tore them down, and now have an RFP out where we'll be looking to accept proposals from developers to tell us what can best go on those sites that we purchase. But in addition to that, we're already with about $160 million development that includes revitalizing and upgrading our airport, Fulton County Airport or Charlie Brown Airport, however you refer to it. That's underway right now. And when it's finished, and I want to say this, I always say it, no disrespect to DeKalb County and my friend, the CEO, Michael Thurman in DeKalb County, but when we're done, the Fulton County Airport will be one of the finest in the country, if not the world. And so we will be much bigger and much better than PDK. So we're very, very proud of that. In addition to that, right across the street from the airport, and I mentioned early on that animal control is important to us because some 75% of households in Fulton County have at least one pet. Our previous facility was run down, outdated, looked like a third world facility. So we stepped up as a board, ended up with a right at $45 million new state-of-the-art. And it's actually, I'll say more than state-of-the-art. I think it's without question the finest facility of its kind in this country. And I've seen a lot of them around the world, and some of them even pictures of them. There's no facility, from my judgment, any better than our new facility, which is right in South Fulton County, which will bring people from all over our county, again, into Fulton County, because animals are important to households here. So we are committed to the South Side. We're committed to economic development on the South Side, and those are just two projects that we're looking at right now. Then further down in South Fulton County, in Chattahoochee Hills, major projects on the drawing board that are going to be some coming out of the ground fairly quickly, and there's that's in Chattahoochee Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Another in South Fulton County happens to be a friend, Carl Buchard, who owns about 8,000 acres. When he finishes that development over the next 8 or so years, it will be, I mean, I've seen the drawings, and Carl is a man of his word, and it is going to put Fulton County, South Fulton County, once again, on the map from a point of view of what can happen with a live, work, play area. And he is now in the process now of building his own residence there. And again, with respect to water and sewer initiatives, the Big Creek plant, for example, I think you're very, very familiar with that. The expansions and upgrades that are taking place there now, critical to the future growth and development of South Fulton County. So that's one that we're also very, very, very proud of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, given the fact that we actually operate out in Big Creek, very familiar, as you are well aware, Mr. Pitts.
Yeah, and then you mentioned transportation. I didn't touch on transportation. But for Fulton County, we probably wouldn't have a MARTA, for example. Back in the day when it first started, we've been supporting MARTA, I think 45 years. And first time around it failed, and we came back and it won by a few votes the second time, and the rest is history. So it's been Fulton County and DeKalb County that have supported MARTA through the years. Everybody's trying to get on board now, which is not a bad thing, but we've carried the water through the years, the water, so to speak, but in transportation, in terms of funding for MARTA. And we have a very new initiative that the bids were just accepted. We meaning Fulton County, is participating with a pilot program where we are we are participating to have a pilot program in the city of College Park dealing with personal rapid transit vehicles. And what these are, well, they'll come in different size. It can be 6 passengers, 10 passengers, et cetera, where they will be on demand. You can dial in, have these vehicles pick you up, take you to your destination where you work or go for entertainment. This pilot project is going to be in College Park, and it'll probably take about a year or so to get it up. But what the significance of it is because Fulton County is a key player in this, but the real importance of that, and number one, it works. I've seen it around the country, but people from all over the world will be coming to Fulton County and specifically to College Park to see this and to emulate, copy what we're doing here. So that's a very unique, very innovative transportation project that's going to be coming out of the ground here over the next several months in Fulton County, in the city of College Park.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I guess as we kind of alluded to, the upcoming capital spend for Fulton County during some of these initiatives, how does the county really try to promote, and encourage diversity and inclusion through these capital spend projects among their contractors?
Well, I mean, we've had I've had a lot of experience with this going back to my days as a young city councilman in Atlanta when I was involved in the writing of a lot of the programs that set the standard for the country under the leadership of then Mayor Maynard Jackson. So I was right there, by his side, so to speak. So had an involvement in this through the years. And when I transitioned from the city to the county, there were lawsuits and still are some lawsuits out there which sort of prohibit us from having specific goals written into our contracting process. Strike that, having specific requirements in terms of a specific percentage for minority and female participation. We can have goals, which we do from time to time, but the interesting thing about it here is that because of Fulton County, I think take a little bit of credit for this, because anyone seeking to do business with Fulton County, they know they'd have to be stupid to come before us without having a representative percentage of their particular contract that they are seeking, if it does not have a significant percentage of the work being awarded to female and minority-owned businesses. And we're very proud of that. We've accomplished probably even without written goals and objectives as much as other cities have who have written goals and objectives, because and that comes from the leadership.
Mm-hmm. And does the city more favorably consider contractors that, for larger contractors, form JVs with female minority-owned companies?
Absolutely. And then again, they know that coming in. It's not a requirement. But if you do your homework, if you know that's going to be one of the first questions that will be asked by the board in particular, doesn't disqualify you, but it certainly helps your case if that's the case. And we also look for instances in which the minority and the female firm, they don't have to be the minority partner having a smaller piece of the pie. They can be the lead. So and we've had instances here where firms have started out being having a smaller piece of the pie, who through the years though have gained the financial standing, the experience, the competency, and so forth. So where they're coming back with a majority firm and as their minority partner, having a smaller piece of the pie. So we're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish here at Fulton County.
Mm-hmm. So if you could tell me, Rob, just a little bit more about, how do you really encourage some of these younger people to get involved in county efforts?
Well, that's Atlanta, Fulton County, even the state of Georgia, through the years, going back to the the Jackson era, and then Jackson followed by Andy Young. We've just been a magnet for minorities to relocate here. I mean, well qualified, well trained, experienced minorities to locate to our area, and that's been a good thing. But in addition to that, we have the schools here, not only the Georgia Techs and the University of Georgia's and the Emorys, but also the schools in the AU Center, Atlanta University Center, Clark College, Spelman, Morehouse, Morris Brown, ITC, those schools who've turned out graduates who've made their mark. So when the word is spread, I mean, if you want to come to a place, if you have the training, the ambition, the desire, we're a welcoming place. It's unlike, I think, and I lived in Cleveland, Ohio for many years, and have friends in other major cities where those cities are not as welcoming as we are here in Atlanta and Fulton County. I mean, because in other cities, Midwest, Northeast, out West, if you're not not from there, not a part of the in crowd, so to speak, you don't have there's some of that here, but it's less so here than it is, I think, in a lot of other places. So if you have the desire, you have the training, if somebody's going to listen to you here and will help you on the way. So that's the great thing about being here. None of this happens without solid government. State of Georgia, we've been fortunate to have governors who had some characters through the years, but overall, we've had solid folk at our state. We don't always agree with everything that goes on at the state, but the facts are, last 8 or 9 years has been the top state in the country in which to do business. Many of those businesses are located here in Fulton County. Fulton County being the largest county in the state of Georgia, many of those businesses are located within Fulton County. Then you have the 15 cities within Fulton County. Atlanta happens to be the largest of the 15, but you have 14 others where we all and they all welcome businesses. They all welcome small and minority-owned businesses. So there's, I think, a climate that encourages even the most not sensitive person to providing these opportunities. But because they're here, because of the presence of minorities on their legislative bodies, city councils in particular, the question is going to be, come up. What are we doing with respect to small minority and female-owned businesses? Do we have a program? If we don't have one, let's get a program, because this is the right thing to do. And I haven't mentioned this civil rights history here, but that's a part of it. You talk about, we're known as the cradle of civil rights. All of this plays into it, but civil rights piece aside, now you got the educational component, and you got folk who are coming here, growing here, others who are coming here who just well equipped. And every company wants to be here, home for many, many Fortune 500 companies, a couple of Fortune 100s, and that second tier companies all here. When they come, though, knowing that this is the way the game is played here. And if you want to be successful, you're going to have to make opportunities available for small and minority-owned businesses. But in addition to the job side of business, board memberships, corporate board members, executives in the firms, throughout, it just permeates throughout the firm. That's a culture, that's a climate that, I'd like to think that I've had a, little piece to play in getting that message out to people. And lastly, not only locally, but even internationally, when people come here, all the consulates, foreign trade offices that we have here. I mean, I'm constantly, and through the years, we're going back to Maynard and when Andrew Young was mayor, traveling around the world and telling Atlanta's story. And even now, letting companies in foreign countries, key ones in particular, know about the opportunities here. And they're excited about coming here. They've heard about, and then, we're taking, because of the circumstances of the 2020 election, the whole world knows about Fulton County, Georgia now because of the election. every day on the news, there's Fulton County, beautiful logo right outside. You see that. Some of us maybe not positive, but my focus and my idea is to turn that what could some would consider to be a negative, all of the the controversy about the 2020 election and the upcoming trials and all that, but to turn that into a positive, because first and foremost, people have to know who you are. And then once they know who you are, then it's up to people like me and other elected officials to go tell our story around the world. And to that point, we have one of our great trading partners for this country, as a matter of fact, is South Korea.
Mhm.
We at Fulton County, we're planning a trade mission in April to South Korea, taking small and minority-owned businesses in particular from Fulton County only to go to South Korea to meet their counterparts, hopefully to enter into joint ventures and bring them here and have our businesses go there. So that keeps us in the limelight, spotlight, so to speak, not only nationally, but internationally. And again, that's South Korea. Another one that I have been involved in through the years has been Cuba. I believe, and I think rightfully so, that when things normalize between our country and Cuba, and they will, that my goal through the years in my travels there, continue to travel there, is to make Georgia and Fulton County and Atlanta the destination of choice for the Cuban government when things normalize versus Dade County and the city of Miami in Florida because of the history there, negative history as it relates to Cuba. We don't have that. So that's why I think this work is all going to pay off. And to that point, just recently, there's a brother from Maryland, as a matter of fact, who just received the first license to sell vehicles in Cuba manufactured in this country. I was there for back in, I think it was February, for when the first vehicle, it was a Tesla electric vehicle, was delivered there to be purchased by a Cuban. And now we're waiting for, he's also has a license to sell scooters that are manufactured here in Cuba. So things are changing. You hear a lot about the bad things that are going on there, but there's a lot of good stuff going on there. And I'm just, been in the right place at the right time. I had the vision to see this as an opportunity for the cities that I have been, the city rather of Atlanta, that I was privileged to serve, and now the county privileged to serve. So just to make a difference and try to leave both Atlanta and Fulton County a better place as a result of my service. I got almost 3 years left in this term. I got one more term after that, for the record. So I got 7 more years if the people will have it. I got 3 more to go, and certainly plan to seek re-election.
And I think the people will have you, Mr. Pitt.
Yeah.
My final question, I mean, you've really gone into depth about, your vision for the county and obviously your impact. I mean, is there anything else that you can kind of envision for the future of the county that you kind of haven't already highlighted? I mean, you spoke about the international work, bringing companies in, but anything else that kind of comes to mind?
Well, I mean, the Fulton County is going to continue to grow. The region is going to continue to grow, and based upon projections by the Atlanta Regional Commission. So I think the growth is coming here, and with that growth will come opportunities, and from those opportunities will be challenges. Where will people live? Where will people work? How will they get from their residences to work? These are challenges, but we're thinking about all of that now on the macro level. Atlanta Regional Commission, state of Georgia, Fulton County, city of Atlanta, and the other 15 city of Atlanta, plus the other 14 cities within Fulton County. So we're preparing now for that growth is going to come. I mean, things are changing. It's changing rapidly. I mean, probably 20 years from now, I mean, I won't be able to, assuming I'm still here, recognize, because I know years ago, we projected that there would be 120 million people passing through Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. And back then, it was probably about 75 million. Everybody thought we were crazy, but we looked into the future And we probably only probably less than 10 years away from that now. So, and that's another thing, when we, going back to the old airport, before the airport as you know it, when we first decided to build that airport, I mean, I couldn't have imagined, I'm sure Maynard probably could not have imagined, and the others of us who served as elected officials and appointed officials at the time could not have imagined the impact that that airport has had on not only the local and statewide economy, but the U.S. economy and even the world economy. Think about it. Right here, we tore down that old airport, built what some people said we were crazy to spend that kind of money on an airport. But look at it now, and where would we be? As we always say, the biggest, the busiest, and the best, the three B's, biggest, busiest, and best in the world. And just had a little bit to do with that back in the day. And every time I drive there or go to the airport, I'm simply amazed at what it means, and people know about it and rave about it. So it's that kind of thinking, but we need more of that. And then that's up though to the voters. I'm trying to educate the voters to understand that rather than just voting for people for these offices because, you know, your kids play baseball or soccer together, you worship together, or you belong to the same fraternity or sorority, I would encourage the voters to do your homework because we talk about votes mattering. Well, they do matter, but let's put the right people in these positions. Otherwise, we get embarrassed. And so that's my message. And I think that that's becoming clearer and clearer. We have a lot at stake, but I've had the pleasure of traveling to many, many countries. I can tell you, there's no thing in the world like when you returning back to the state of Georgia and Fulton County and the city of Atlanta. When you land at that airport, you say, free at last, I'm home.
You got that right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights, Mr. Pitts. It's been a pleasure. And this has been another episode of Making Waves.
Thank you for having me.